1.5, public comments. No public comments. We have a public comment by Commissioner Alonso Carmona.
Judge, I received a call on Friday that something about, from the consulate, that I was assigned to do the, how do you say that? When you bring them out of the, exhume the bodies of the immigrants. However, I don't know how it came about that I was designated for that. If any of the other, I'm not saying anybody, if the other commissioner got information about this information, they're gonna bring the CSI team, the first aid aides, all sorts of people at the cemetery. However, like, I don't know how I got assigned to it, but I just called the gentleman, or the consulate back, that I wasn't gonna participate in that training, because they wanted it this week. And I just called them back because due to the commodities and the workload we have, we're not gonna be available. We might assist them, but not completely 100%. So if there's other commissioners, I don't know if they're gonna be notified about exhuming the bodies, because the policy said that there was about close to, if I'm not mistaken, close to about 100 bodies. So I don't know where they're scattered. Or not scattered, but where they have been placed. So I called the consulate back this morning and advised them to give them more time and look into it, because from what I get, I don't know if we have to go before Commissioner's Court to approve this, being that the state is asking for this help. They want a backhoe and an excavator. And like I said, they're gonna have the Porcini team there with trailers and whatnot, so. I just told them if we could have a meeting tomorrow with them and see what really is transpiring.
Is it the same thing with the Texas state? Do you know? Because I know that we signed an MOU the last time.
I have no idea. This was just a consulate talking to me. It wasn't the college or anything.
Okay.
They mentioned a lot of professors and stuff like that, so.
We'll inquire. I'll try to investigate, because I did sign an MOU with Texas State in regards to that. But I'm not sure if it's the same thing that you're talking about.
Right. But I just wanted to make the court aware of the phone call I received. And I'll give you the number of the consulate.
Thank you. Commissioner Juan, you had a public comment?
Yes, ma'am. I was approached by some concerned citizens of the subdivision. There's a lot of illegal activity going out there. They got no lighting, so I told them I would put it on the agenda and try to get it approved. Also, they said they saw a mountain lion and
In the what subdivision, sir?
that's, but those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they saw a mountain lion and then some other creatures they're not supposed to be there. So I told them I would bring it before Commissioner's Court and we'll address it so we can provide lighting for them over there.
Any other public comments? 1.6, approval of minutes of regular meeting November 27, 2023.
Subject to no correction, Judge, so moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Odena. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.1, approval of bonds.
No bad.
There are no bonds, no action. 2.2, discussion and approval, appropriate action approval for courthouse Wave Plus duress alert system, secure tech in system.
We have a proposal to upgrade the existing panic alert system, which would update the main system here at this building, update all of the buttons inside here at the adjoining historic courthouse. It would update the tax offices, or I'm sorry, assessor office down the street, and would also be adding the rodeo facility as well. We would also be adding a couple of additional features and options in addition to the panic button, which would directly go to the sheriff's radio, notify any of the bailiffs in the buildings or in the county of where the assistance would be needed. This would also provide a desktop pop-up announcement and text and email throughout the county to all the applicable employees. And then the last component was to, the option was to provide a mobile app on the phone for the county judges and your commissioners yourselves, which would be an option for you to have this on your phone in the event that when you're out of the county facilities and you're in public and you need assistance, you could activate this app and it would activate in the same context and notify the Dimmit County Sheriff's Department and dispatch where you are located in the county and the assistance that you're needed.
Are those the panic buttons that we have?
Correct.
Right.
So just for a bit of update or information, Commissioner Juan, Mr. Wade came to the courthouse and he went looking through the historical courthouse, the annex, the auditor's and treasurer's office, and also the arena to see if obviously the panic buttons were still working. There was several panic buttons that were not working, some that are outdated. Obviously with technology ever changing nowadays, there's a lot, as he mentioned, a lot of different features that are available. Obviously we didn't look or get all the features, but some of the features that they recommended that we have. So essentially this presentation or this action would be to go ahead and update all the court system so that we're in compliance with federal and state laws in terms of courthouse security.
What about this extra 5,200?
Correct. So that the first cost is a one-time FOX cost, the 5,000 charge. The first line item is the setup fee, the $37.50. That is for up to 20 county employees to have the applicable app on their phone, and that is a recurring annual charge. So that is the one component that is a recurring annual charge. That's not required for the main system that goes in all the facilities. So that could be something that you could decide on today, or decide we could add that on later on.
So it'd be 3,000 a month, you say?
No, 3,750 per year.
Per year.
Per year.
So we decide to go with the second option, it'll be 41,000 plus eight.
No, it would be,
So this was confusing because you got two bills.
oh, yes, sir.
You got two statements here. You got one for
Correct.
36,000 and then you got one for 5,250.
Yes,
So
sir,
that's
correct.
what I'm
Today,
trying to
that,
say.
yes.
Is it added to this bill or is it extra?
So this would be the bill today, per se, and then next year, the ongoing cost would be the $37.50 for the mobile app.
So when you calculate it together for the 41,000, Commissioner, that you're talking about, that's for the setup and all that, then next year it would just be the 3,750 per year.
Okay.
And the only other ongoing charge outside of that is the extension of the warranty for up to 10 years, which is, this is on the main system, which is $995 every 2 years. And that covers the entire hardware component system.
Okay, we'll understand.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Is this all y'all provide? You don't have anything like cameras or sensors or doors or stuff like that?
We don't personally, but our system is an interconnect system, so when you work with those vendors and you get additional camera systems or door sensors, the system can connect to all of that. And to give you an example, in Travis County, or Capital Austin, they use our system in basically every single facility. So we tie into their camera system. So when someone activates a button in whatever building, it sends a message to that camera system that says, hey, I've been activated, and it does whatever that video system does. It bookmarks it, does the pop-up, and whatever that does, and also key card access to it. So what you wanted to, and what we do for a lot of school districts, when a button is activated, depending on if you want to do a lockdown scenario, we don't lock the doors or tell the doors locked, but whatever system you would have, it would instigate its lockdown protocols, and we would send in a message. So we virtually connect to any other type of technology. We don't do that, but we work with all the other, we're agnostic to vendors, so it wouldn't matter what card or camera system you would choose to go with.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. 2.3, discussion and appropriate action to approve PSI Intertech to perform the geotechnical exploration as required for the design of the sports complex. I'm going to as much as I'd like to have this item have action so that we can move on the sports complex and prevent any further delays, I'm going to respectfully request a motion to table this item for the next agenda because I want Mr. Calzada to be here if there's any questions that are going to be asked of the commissioners in regards to the, this is essentially, we had approved already for him to make inquiries regarding the soil testing for the project site. And as I've been advised by him, he was able to find this one company that only does it in our area. However, I would like for him to be here in case you guys have any questions out of respect for the commissioners.
So moved, Judge.
Motion to table by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Juan Carmona. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.4, discussion and appropriate action, approve Dirkskin Engineering to prepare a survey of the existing site, including existing trees, as required for the design of the sports complex. Same announcement. I would respectfully request a motion to table at this time.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Juan Carmona. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 2.5, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from County Extension Agent Ms. Aliso Cruz for the month of November 2023. She's not here?
Motion to table.
Motion to table by Commissioner Alonso Carmona.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 2.6, I'll entertain a motion to table as Ms. Cruz is not here as well.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.7, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from FCH Agent Ms. Carissa Munoz for the month of November 2023.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We had a pretty busy November, but one thing I wanted to highlight was we had the first Southwest Child Care Educator Conference held at the arena on November 4th, and we had 75 participants attend to get certifications for their daycare, like they have to get continuing education credits. And we had people from Webb County, Uvalde County, Maverick County, LaSalle, and Dimmit County. So we're hoping that we can have another one in 2025.
Any questions of Ms. Munoz? I'll entertain a motion to approve her monthly report.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Odena, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Juan Carmona. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Munoz. 2.8, discussion and appropriate action, approval for reimbursement for FCH agent Ms. Carissa Munoz for attending the District 12 4-H Food Show contest on November 11th in Falfurrias, Texas. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Odena, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Any discussion?
Judge, you know, we've been having, with all due respect, when it's not doesn't pertain to you.
No.
I mean, it does, but not. We've been having a lot of reimbursements, and we find out after the fact that they can go also. At the last time we had discussed that they had to bring them before commissioner, before they go. We could go, anybody can go to the meeting. Is that right, Mr. Vega?
I don't remember.
You want
I don't recall.
to, yeah, but it's not required, it's not a requirement. I mean, in order to make, for us, in order to make the check, it could either be through Commissioner's Court approval to travel or
The claim docket.
That's all it requires. There's no requirement. That's just, that is something that's county tradition, I guess.
Is this something different than what we have in place? Being that it's the agri-life?
No,
It's what I'm saying
any
is,
travel, any travel.
when you have your travel, you put your food and everything on there. So, my question, I think what we're referring to is, if they're gonna do this travel, do they add the meals on there? Instead of waiting till the day they go, and then they pay, and then, we having to reimburse them. Is there something different, is agri-life different than the county?
No, and you can, and we do that with the county also.
That, it's a legit question, nothing that offends anybody or anything like that, but.
No, it's not a requirement that you have to
Well,
have.
how come?
That's something that you've always, that the county has done. It's not requirement on state law.
Mayor,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
how come before we had to get permission from Commissioner's Court for everything? Now everything is changing.
No.
Yes,
Travel
it is.
always said it's not a requirement, but you all choose to do it this way. If you all choose to do it that way, that's,
We're still getting permission because even if it's a reimbursement, if we don't approve it,
Well, that's what I'm saying. And now he's saying it doesn't have to be brought to Commissioner's Court for approval.
Prior to them.
Right? That's exactly what you're saying, right?
yes.
So
It-
what
it's-
changed,
it's-
what changed from the last time to now?
Nothing's ever changed. You all require, that's that's a county requirement. But regardless, either you go before or you come back afterwards, that's what you requirement, because sometimes in the past, you've always done either going before or a reimbursement. So they choose, basically, if you all decide, and this is the way it's been, so if you all
I don't
decide,
have a problem with reimbursement. My problem is when you change everything around every time we have something to discuss. That's my problem.
I didn't change it, I'm just stating a fact, that it's not a state requirement that you have to have approval before, through Commissioner's Court to go to a training. It is, if it's in the budget,
It's just a formality.
right. But it either has to be done through Commissioner's Court, which we do, or they have to turn in a claim docket to authorize the check to get in. So either way, it's got to go through the claim docket or Commissioner's Court. But you all choose to bring it to Commissioner's Court, one way or another, either beforehand or reimbursement, that's up to you all.
So in other words, if I decide just to go, I can go to a meeting and then come back and get reimbursed?
If it's within your budget, yes.
If you have the money in your budget, it's
So-
okay.
So essentially, what he's saying is that, and I understand what you're saying, because historically speaking, in the past, you guys always had to come to the Commissioners Court to approve for anybody to go to any training. But the law says that if it's in the budget, and their training line item, and there's sufficient money there, they can go. How the Commissioners Court will approve or not approve is based if we approve the reimbursement or we approve the claim docket. So essentially, if we decide today that we didn't want to reimburse Ms. Munoz, you don't approve the reimbursement.
Right.
But the law specifically says that if it's within their budget and their training line item, then they don't necessarily have to come before Commissioners Court because we've already technically approved it when we approved the budget.
So I don't have a problem, like I say, but, you know, I
It's
just want to
like-
make sure, because that, I don't want to bring it up again. So
Well-
they can go and then we just approve it, the reimbursed or the payment.
And what I tell everybody is, you're taking a risk by not coming to Commissioners Court, either claim docket or
Correct.
travel.
Okay.
Because if you all come back and say, no, you shouldn't have gone, or no, we're not approving it. then-
Or there's not enough money in the budget, because I know that,
But it is a little bit confusing. But now we kind of get what you're saying.
because,
It's not that we're not against any reimbursement, it's just a process that want A, and then you go to B, and then it's like, which is it?
But I do tell everybody that you're,
Right.
you're on your own.
No, that
If
is
they, if they decide not to.
reimbursement. Correct.
because I know, for instance, Commissioner Alonso, that there's certain, and I keep tabs on it as the financial officer with Mr. Pereira, there is certain departments already, and I've discussed with some of them already, that we've only approved, let's say, 2,000 for training, and they're kind of already getting to that number, and that's where we come in and we don't have to approve that reimbursement or that training or that seminar because they've already exhausted their funds in that line item. So again, it's at their own risk as,
I just wanted to clear it because, well, we had.
I think if for where you're coming from is more of the formality, because in the past, it always came before Commissioners Court before they ever traveled. They had to
Right.
come get it approved before. And for the most part, yes, you're absolutely correct, that was the way it was. There was some time where people would get reimbursed, correct, Mr. Pereira, in the
Yeah.
past, but it's more than not that you had to come before. And so now it's, you know, following the law is what I like to do.
No, that's fine.
And
I just wanted to, so I won't be quick asking all the time, I ask the same question, so.
I mean, I think it's important that we ask questions. I mean, we don't want anybody to just go to random trainings just because they want to exhaust the county funds. I mean, if it's not a training that pertains to that specific department, then I think we should, as officers of the court, should inquire and should ask questions. And if we don't feel that, let's say for instance, I'm Ms. Munoz, and we're not picking on you, Ms. Munoz, but let's say she comes before and she wants to go to a criminal justice training that has nothing to do with her, I think it is important that we as officers of the court ask her those questions, and if we decide that we shouldn't approve it, then I think they should respect that.
Well,
Any other questions? I had a motion by Commissioner Odena and a second by Commissioner Alonso. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.9, discussion and appropriate action, approval to purchase 2 vehicles for county extension agents, 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 and Sierra 2500 HD. In regards to this agenda item, Commissioners, again, this is a formality. This budget line item have been approved when we had the budget, annual budget approved back in September. For purposes of Mr. Pereira's office, as a formality, they wanted it just to have something in writing of the Commissioner's Court reapproving it, I guess. So that's why there's items on here, but the funds had been allocated already when we did our budget to have these 2 vehicles purchased. So I'll entertain
So-
motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Odena, any other discussion?
Yes, ma'am, on those vehicles, the ones that are being replaced, I would like to suggest that they go back to Commissioner Noguera because the vehicles that they're using, they belong to her.
They will go back to,
Just to make it note on so nobody will say, well, I got it. I would like to make the most, that suggestion that they go back to Commissioner Noguera.
any other discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Munoz. 2.10, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from Rodeo Arena Event Coordinator, Ms. Guadalupe Puente for the month of November 2023. Good morning.
Commissioners. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
So as for the arena, we had 18 events, 2 canceled, 1 event postponed, and 1 was moved to the golf course. That was for the football dinner, having to do with using the facility of the public school. When they were having problems with, I guess, with the water or
With the
something like
water
that.
leak.
So, yes. Asherton, we had events. My question on Asherton, but of course Commissioner Valerie's not here. It was brought to my attention by the soccer league. Of course, soccer has already ended, but they were wondering about the storage. The storage that's there at the Bowman Field, is that gonna be used for I would say the persons that rent the facility, if they're gonna be able to use the storage? Or is the storage for the employees, like to store their equipment and stuff? So that was my question for the Bowman Field. Because it was brought up to my attention, if they're able to use the storage, like to put their, their equipment as they're using it at that time.
Any questions on Ms. Puente?
Ms. Puente,
Yes, Commissioner.
the only problem I see with that is,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna be liable if they break in and steal everything?
Okay.
Because that's for the reason we're gonna use the storage for like the tractors and the lawnmowers and everything else.
Okay.
You know, over here in Alanis, I can understand that,
Mhm.
that we have storage for that, but we also have a heavy duty lock, and then we have all the cameras
Mm-hmm.
surrounding the area, but over there's nothing. So I'm just, make it clear that if we're not gonna be liable if they break in and take everything. Can we do that, Judge?
I think for purposes of liability that we don't store anything in
Right.
there.
Okay,
And
that
the other
sounds
thing
good,
is,
that's good to know.
If we allow one
I agree.
group to store their equipment, the other groups are gonna want an area to store theirs as well.
And you know that we've had issues before in the past at the Alanis in regards to certain different groups saying, well, my stuff was here, then my stuff was here. And I think just out of abundance of caution and out of not having individuals arguing or fighting amongst themselves, that we just limit that.
Among that, Judge, I see it as county storage facility only because if you're gonna allow certain teams to put something in there, we're gonna have to come up with I don't know if we have to come up with it or maybe be a storage fee because
Mm-hmm.
due to the fact that, again, we let one do it, everybody's gonna wanna do it, so then it creates a conflict. And I believe, I'm gonna say per se, just from me, that building was made for county use only,
Okay,
for county equipment.
okay.
I might be wrong, but that's something we
Well,
have to.
that's good that we're
because-
discussing
correct,
that way.
Discuss with Commissioner Noguera.
Yes. So then that storage would be just for equipment for the county to store.
Well, I think that I think that discussion can be had when Commissioner Noguera is here, and then obviously the majority of the commissioners can vote
Okay,
on that. But I think it just out of, you know, respect for her not being here, we should.
Okay, and also the other question would be, as they're using it, the maintenance in the restrooms, you know, are they cleaning them and stuff like that?
Who's cleaning?
To make sure that they're being clean, because sometimes it's brought to my attention that the restrooms are not being cleaned, or that there's not enough toilet paper and stuff like that. So that would my other concern. So that way I will know what to address as they're, you know, when they ask me that question.
I think those questions are questions that need to be posed to Commissioner Noguera because it's her department that is oversees the Bowman field.
Okay,
So I wouldn't be able to answer that, and I don't know if any of the commissioners could answer
okay,
whether
we
they.
we can bring that up next month when she's here.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, on the
Yes.
same note, I advise Commissioner Urenda that when the gentleman that checks everything told me that we need to put signs up at the old well, that non-portable water, because if something happens, you know, we know that they can't drink it, but people see the faucets and they just go wash their face and sometimes drink water out of it. So we need to post signs to where,
Where's this at, Commissioner?
at the arena where the old well is. Remember we put the faucets and then there's a line going to the trees on the county park and there's a faucet. So we need to put a sign saying non-portable water. Because then the inspector came and he told me, so now I gotta put one.
Maybe you can ask Commissioner, he ordered signs
We
for
ordered
the
two from
parking lot.
a local nonprofit. I'll
Right?
get with Commissioner.
So now I'm gonna have to put one in the back of the border patrol because that we give the city water to for the restrooms and the other areas. But now I gotta put a backflow preventer.
Any other questions? Now entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Urenda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Puente.
Thank you, have a good day.
You too. 2.11, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from Constable Precinct 2, Mr. Andres Arambula, Roland Rubio, Joey Rivera for the month of November 2023. Morning.
Morning, Commissioners,
Morning.
Judge.
Social.
Constable, on, just real quick, 780 and 750, they're your other,
Yeah, That's Rubio and Rivera.
any questions?
Motion to approve?
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Urenda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Constable.
Thank you.
2.12, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from Constable Precinct 3, Mr. Robert Valderas, Rudy Lopez, Julio Fuentes, Juventino Torres for the month of November 2023. Morning. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Uranda, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Juan Carmona. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.13, discussion and appropriate action, approval for Constable Precinct 3 Robert Valderas to attend the Texas Justice Court Training Civil Process Seminar on January 28th in Corpus Christi.
Motion to approve.
I have a question for you.
Sorry.
You're fine. I have a question, Mr. Constable.
Yes, sir.
On your voucher request for meals, it's 4 days for $60, but your total is there a discrepancy? Because it says 210, but I calculated it to be 240.
I think because the last day was gonna be a half a day, I just put half. I didn't know that we had to
Okay.
put a full day.
So you're only requesting 210?
That'll be fine.
Okay. I just want to make sure that it's proper.
Yes, sir.
Other questions?
Judge,
Mando?
that happened to us also, but Mr. Pereira stated that if we're traveling, we don't get paid. And if when you're traveling back, you don't get paid for the meals. So that's a question we had for him, but that's what he told us. So I think when you leave and until you get there, I think you only get the dinner, correct? Because that's what he
Well,
told us.
he's gonna just get breakfast and lunch because he said it's half the day.
Right.
So that's why he put, but on the thing, he put that he's gonna be there 4 days, so
Right.
it,
Yeah, I'll be there attending from Sunday through Wednesday. And on the course itself, I paid up front because they required us to pay
Correct.
money up front.
Motion.
motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Odena.
Where's Mr.? Oh, sorry.
I don't know where Mr. Pereira is. Bailiff, can you
Where you come from?
find Mr. Pereira? Any other discussion?
Why did you have to pay for your pocket?
We always do.
The
When I-
seminars require to
The
hold the spot.
seminars, the holding spot.
Like Mr. Arama, he couldn't get in, but he got put on the waiting list because it's first come, first served. You don't pay up rent, they move on.
I've had to do that, that's what we've had to. Mhm. You've done it as well.
Yeah, but we just put the card, we don't pay for it.
But they take it off your card.
Yeah, that's what he was saying, remember?
Yeah, they
Remember-
charged me from my debit, yes.
Remember you were talking about that, Commissioner
Yeah,
Carmona?
they took the whole thing out of my card.
Yeah.
That's why I
I
was,
guess I've been lucky.
There's so-
Otherwise, we had to
There's so many
pay
constables in the state of Texas, everybody's
Yeah.
going for it.
you did too much.
Like aluminum cans.
No, that's why I had mentioned at the last meeting, we had the discussion about potentially getting credit cards for the elected officials, just for purposes of holding, because I know Commissioner Alonso was discussing that they had charged him everything up front, and, you know, if there was not enough funds there or whatnot, right, you get a hold on your bank or something to
Yes.
that effect.
Not only that, but they charge you that, is it, that,
Yeah, they charge me for
Yeah.
the seminar and the out, and
Yeah.
the fee for the
Mr. P, we were discussing that, and is there another way we can reserve those rooms? What do we know? Come on. I'm serious though, because we go through this hassle every time, and I thought that the county card would assure us that they're gonna get paid.
The problem that we've had in the past is that people don't keep track of when they go or don't go. So if it's on the county credit, we've had it, and people cancel, they cancel by not going. Not that they cancel, they just don't go. And so we're stuck with a bill.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. Because people
You
don't
can
pay back.
always file on them.
Well, but they don't pay
Right.
back. In fact, if you remember a couple of years ago, we had a finding from the audit because one of the commissioners didn't pay back.
I understand that, but you're saying we're stuck with the bill, we're not. You go to the county attorney, you file and say for theft, and I'm sure they're gonna pay, correct?
I don't know if the attorney would file because he
but
didn't.
I think what we're
The county
relating,
attorney wouldn't file, he says.
I think what we're relating to is have a card. But instead of them taking it out of my whole checking account, pay the, because this has happened to me several times. They dock it right out, as soon as we reserve the room or whatever, they dock the whole thing off my card. And I've gone through it about 2 or 3
And
times.
some room as well.
No. They
He's
took-
talking about whenever they charge for the incidentals and all that stuff, so he was saying, that's why he made,
$50.
not necessarily, not
There's
necessarily.
$100 and $200 incidental. You gotta,
He just said he had to pick up cans because he didn't have that. But
It's a visit
in all
fund.
seriousness though, it's not just $50. There's been times that we've gone to conferences, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, where I've had like a $200 a day
Yeah.
charge for incidentals, and then they clear it 3, 4, 5 business days after the fact if there was no incidentals. And I understand what,
Oh, you mean once you get there?
well,
no,
everything.
no, the whole thing.
What they
No,
figure
when
out,
you get there.
no, what they figure out, they didn't take pillows and sheets, they give you.
No, I know, but when you get, not being going to reserve.
That's the issue that I
You
had
reserve
with the
only
last
one room,
hotels.
One day.
That's the issue that I had with the last hotel. That they took everything out, and for some reason, wires got crossed, and I still haven't seen my money. But I'm not complaining, it's just, I'm still in the process of trying to get that reimbursement. And there's no need for us to do that.
The last conference or hotel we went to, which is the one he's talking about at the Fairmont, because I had the same issue. So what they do nowadays at some of these hotels is, it's the water, the chips, the snacks that are there, they're like electronically monitored. So even if you touch them, they charge you as if you used them. And correct me if I'm wrong, because that happened to me.
I take my own water.
Yes, and so I read on there that they're kind of like some scanning monitoring system. So if you move them out of place, it dictates to the front office that you've gotten that item, even though you didn't, you just touched it. So they charge you for it. And so I think what you're saying, and I totally understand where you're coming from. I think for purposes of effectiveness and efficiency, we do at some point need to discuss about having a credit card for the elected officials that need to put down a payment to hold. I agree what you're saying, that we had an issue, and that was where the audit came from, in terms of that a certain commissioner, I don't know who it was, but did not pay because they canceled and didn't go. In that sense, I think it's you as an auditor, your job is to come and advise the court. Constable Valderas did not go to this meeting, so now we're being charged, so that when Constable Valderas comes before this court the next time and he wants to go to a training, we're gonna be more cognizant and say, you know what, we're not gonna approve your training because you canceled, and now we're in this predicament that we have to get reimbursements and all this stuff, because, if there wasn't a valid reason as to why he didn't go and he just decided not to go.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll do the room, we credit one night to your credit card. Now,
So, but.
Well, no, that's
but
what we
since-
do now.
And I think maybe and I'm not saying, but since COVID happened, maybe everybody's afraid now what you touch, it's contaminated. Just like I say, if you move the bottle because it's in your way, but it's being charged to you, I'm just saying maybe those are just precautions that they're taking, that thinking, with this old COVID stuff and stuff like that, you're contaminating that bottle, because even if you have a flu or cold, whatever.
Okay, let me check, let me see, because if we can somehow charge, if you cancel on your own without canceling the hotel, because if you do what we have found is that I charge it on my credit card, I stay on top of it and make sure that.
I understand what you're saying.
Before the due date.
But that's all about accountability.
Exactly, I understand it.
that, but people,
Well,
that's why I'm getting at.
and if people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, this is where you bring it up and we get it fixed.
I understand that, but that's why you're putting burden on the county instead of having it on
Well, I mean,
traffic.
I understand what you're saying, but I think, as Commissioner Odena said, there has to be some kind of accountability. We're all adults, we're elected officials, we're here to represent our constituents, and if we're being irresponsible by just canceling just because we don't feel like going, I think that you're doing a disjustice to your constituents, because this is taxpayers' money. And so now, and again, it's not to pick on you, Constable, but you're in front of me. For instance, if, let's say, again, Constable Valderas has this training that he's going to go to in January, and he decides he just doesn't feel like going after all, and he cancels, and we lose out. I think there has to be some accountability to him to come before Commissioners Court, before his constituents, say, hey, this is the reason why we've lost all this money, because he just didn't feel like going. There has to be accountability for the elected officials, including myself. I think everybody has to have some kind of accountability. And that's for credit cards, roads, PO, whatever it is, there has to be accountability, instead of just us turning the blind eye or saying, oh, that it's okay, we can't. And I understand where you're coming from as an auditor's point of view, because we did get, or not when I was here, but before, the audit got red flagged because somebody didn't pay on the credit card, and I understand that. But I can tell you, and I know the commissioners can tell you, from our colleagues that are other commissioners, that are other judges, that we've gone to training, they all have, for the most part, not all of them, but for the most part, they all have county credit cards. I can tell you that for a fact. You probably as constables, sheriffs back there, they've gone to trainings where they have a credit card that belongs to the county. And it's all about accountability, Mr. Pereira. And if,
No, I understand that, and I've also checked, and they have, because it's 50/50 as who has and who doesn't, as far as county's concerned, but what they do tell me is that they have trouble going after getting reimbursed when people don't show up for the bill.
Well, it's understandable, under the constable or in law enforcement. If they don't, if for some reason at that moment they can't cope, any type of emergency that arises, you know, maybe he's getting ready to leave and something catastrophic happens where they're needed, that's understandable if they're not able to go during that day. But for him, and again, not picking on the constable, but for him, he's got 30 days or from whatever day he planned to, through Commissioner's Court, to decide if he's gonna go. Now, it's understandable he got there within the rule, but not right at the last minute.
I understand that, but then it's up to him to make sure that the hotel, that they reimburse him and not get.
yeah, and that's where maturity, accountability comes into place.
I don't think.
You know, I think,
Not,
If I may, what we can do is, if we can get those cards for everybody, before somebody gets that card, they can sign an authorization that if they miss, and for whatever reason, that we just take it out on the next bureau.
Well, that's what I'm
We
saying.
get the
I will
money,
check
we get
to
the money
see.
back immediately.
I
There
agree.
you go.
Okay, I was thinking that, but I will check to see how, the legality of all that stuff that we can do it.
As long as they sign off on it, then it's fine. That's why we make them sign it before they get the card, so there's no issues.
and it's not the county only losing, it's us, because, like I said, I'm fighting this thing up to now about trying to get my money back. And somehow, somewhere during the midst of all this, paperwork disappeared at the hotel. So it's my word against theirs. And I'm still going through it. And it's a good chunk, don't think that it's $5, $10, no. It's a good chunk that I'm trying to get reimbursed.
Okay, and I'll check on it, and I'll get back with them.
Mr. Pereira, something very simple. Like, for example, that the credit card can go to the judge. She goes to all the seminars that we go to.
But that's not,
Right.
that's not the problem. That's not the issue.
I know what the issue is, but I'm just trying to give you más o menos some ideas. The sheriff department, he's the one that's in charge, okay? He gets one, and he tells his deputy, sign here, you're gonna use this credit card. If you don't go, then we're gonna adopt you out of your.
Well, those are for the transport, so we do give them one.
Okay, so.
No, he's talking about in terms of for when we go to trainings. I think, again, if remember for the constables, obviously it's different because they're each an elected official, but for the sheriff's department, if we have, you know, Chief Saniceros that's gonna go to a training, she needs a credit card, she signs it off from the sheriff under the understanding that if she cancels at the last minute, there's a high probability that she'll have to get that taken out of her paycheck if there's not a valid reason as to why she canceled.
Right, and so let me check to make sure that everything, the procedure that we come up with is valid and won't have a problem. Okay?
Yeah, because with the civil processing class that we go through, this is the only agency we go through, they will charge everything up front, from the course itself and.
I believe you, Constable, because I know that the training that we had to go to for the AgriLife, this last one, we had to pay $100 up front. We did. So I totally understand where you're coming from.
But we do send the registration, if you bring it in time, we do send it off ahead of time.
No, you've done that before as well, I understand
Whatever for
that. But for in that specific moment, I know, for instance, my staff, if I've had to, for the Texas AgriLife in Laredo that we had to go to, she had to pay the $100 right then and there. So she used my credit card to pay the $100. And then she'll put in a reimbursement from the county, but because right then and there, that's what he's talking about. If not, like Constable Barambula wasn't able, he's on the waiting list, because it goes like that, and you gotta pay for it. And if, you know, everybody has a different situation in life, and if they don't have the funds in there, they can't do
In those
it.
cases, they come back, they tell us, we need to pay right now with credit card. And so they go and they get the card and we charge it on the registration. So, I mean, it's basically you have to come within time and we can take care of it. So when is this training?
Well, he already did
We
it.
already did it.
Well, see, that's just it. They need to bring it ahead of time or talk to us ahead of time because the registration would have done it.
When it comes to
through
this
credit
course,
card.
when it comes to this course itself, you can't wait a week. Once it opens, you have hundreds of
Minutes.
From Marty, because it's
Right, I'm
like,
just saying that basically everybody
That's
has
no
to have
different
a
in
charge.
the rooms. If you don't hurry up and get a room, you don't get it on the,
see.
You have
this-
to
this
go to a
seminar-
neighboring
this seminar,
room.
They've already got, it's paying for the seminar, and they're already quoting the 3 nights for you at the hotel. And you don't pay, I see it's first come, first served. First paying,
that's the way it is.
we're popping.
We need to get our auditor to understand that.
No, because people have come in and said, we need to get it done, can we charge it? Yes, it's already been approved. Ahead of time, if they come back and they bring it ahead of time, when it's ready to go, we do approve it in through the credit card.
No,
But
we
it's gotta be,
need a card.
I will check to see how we do it without getting,
Appreciate you.
having the issue brought back to us.
Thank you, Mr. Perez.
Any other questions? I had a motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, second by Commissioner Uranda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Constable.
Constable, don't feel bad that we used you
As the guinea pig. 2.14, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from Constable Precinct 1, Mr. Alfred Castaneda for the month of November 2023.
Morning.
Morning. Any questions?
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
2.15, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from Constable Precinct 4, Mr. Jose Galvan for the month of November 2023.
Morning, George.
Morning.
Morning.
No questions? Motion by Commissioner Juan Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Constable. .16, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from Victory Ambulance for the month of November 2023.
Good morning, everyone. For that month, we had a total of 287 runs. We had 34 emergencies, 26 refusals, 47 transfers, 21 helipads, 12 discharges, 82 dialysis, 10 doctor's appointments, 44 wound cares, 11 MVAs, and no DOs.
Mr. Olivares, what's MVA?
Motor vehicle accident.
Motor vehicle accident. Are there any questions?
I have one, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Olivares,
Yes,
last, I can't recall the day it was. Either Saturday or Sunday. There was a rollover on one of the highways. However, when called for EMS, there was no EMS available. So they called you all out, and yet there was only one unit in town, and it was attending a call. The other one was on a transfer. This citizens sat there for a good while before they got Crystal City to come down. From what I understand on the last meeting that we had this discussion, you stated that there would be no issue pulling one out of the camp. That was your comment. That you would have no issue pulling one out, that they understood the fact that it was an emergency call, and yet this citizens that were on the rollover, this was a young lady that was expecting a child, and a 4 or 5-year-old child. I myself saw it, so I can't say that I went on hearsay. But when I talk to your medics, they're like, we're in big wells, tending to this one person to fly out. I said, where's the other ambulance? Well, they went out on a transfer. So it took a while from the time that they rolled over to the time Crystal City got there. Take it for saying that luckily Crystal City was available. But what would have happened if Crystal City wasn't available? And then, what would happen then? Do we have to wait for another service? Because I know the contract says one thing, but we're paying a pretty good, hefty salary for that.
Right.
And I see it as, hey, we're paying and expecting to get the service. Not after Crystal City got there, 5 minutes later or so, or maybe a couple of minutes, it may seem like, Medic 19 shows up. So how can we correct this problem so it won't happen? It's happened before, and I brought it to y'all's attention, but how can we correct this problem from happening again?
So are you saying that their vehicles are at the camp?
Well, they have some at the camp, they have hold on, they have some at the camp, they contracted through the camp, and supposedly there's supposed to be 2 ambulances for Dimmit County. But all of a sudden, there's only one. The contract doesn't really specify how many units are we supposed to have. But for the amount we're paying for, it's a hefty price.
Of course.
And I see it, and we're being, and I'm not picking on the EMS or anything like that, but how fair is it if it was my family member sitting there and no ambulance available? Right now, it was just a rollover. What if it's a cardiac arrest? You only have 4 to 5 minutes to survive. How can we, I'm not mad at you, or I'm not anything like that, but I'm just trying to clarify from this happening again.
So, I don't ever recall making the comment that I would pull an ambulance from the camp, because that is a completely different contract. So I couldn't, tell you, I don't ever recall making a comment, but the thing that I can tell you is that the ambulance, if it was in Big Wells, it was already attending to a patient. The other unit may have been on a transfer. I don't know what happened that day. I wasn't here. I wasn't aware of this call. But we do have mutual aid contracts, and if that mutual aid wasn't available, then the other thing would be is they would have to wait for another service or wait till our service clears. And how do we fix this? I would say then maybe come bidding time, or come that we do the contracts, then we ask specifically for what the county wants, and then see where we come to establish to say, this is how many ambulances they're gonna be in the county. Because right now the county, yes, is paying for one. And that one wasn't a call in Dimmit County, attending to a patient in Big Wells. So that's just the way, and I get it, and I understand, and I understand what you're saying about time, sensitive, especially being in this field, because, we've all been on calls, where our hands are tied, we're attending to people, there's other things going on, there's other emergencies going on, and, who knows, maybe one day we'll have 2, 3 ambulances, and they may not be enough to cover the entire county. You know what I mean? It's specifically for Dimmit County, and we may have more than 3-4 calls in one day, 5 calls in one day, where we're not gonna have enough to cover. You know what I mean? So, I mean, because it does happen, but luckily, some calls are less severe than others to where you can clear and move on faster, you know what I mean? Again, in that situation, you know, you use triage, you use, you know, whatever you can, you know, to try and break yourself away from, you know, not, you know, from a true non-emergency to make your way to a true emergency. You know what I mean? And the rollover is, you are 100% correct, a true emergency. But all I can tell you is that that ambulance was tied up in Big Wells. If you say that, because I guess you were monitoring the radio, correct?
No, that's what your medic told me.
Okay, that's what, so then,
That's
they
what
must
he
have
said.
been, I mean, I can find out exactly and tell you where it was, what was going on, and the times they cleared, and then we can get times, you know, for that. I can clear that up for you. But I would say that the way, if there was to be another ambulance in the county, I mean, that would have to come, you know, I guess to what contract and whatnot, to what, you know, the county is gonna, you know, want, and the bidding process and how much it's gonna cost them. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I hate it as much as you do. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I hate it. I hate that, you know, medical care in general has to be a business. I hate it. You know what I mean? Because I, for one, am the type of person that you know, prices to me when it comes to, you know, life is, I mean, life outweighs the other, right? I mean, I think 100%, you know, sure. But unfortunately, it has to be, you know, business. I remember being in Commissioner's Court a long time ago when I was told that by Commissioner's Court, if you don't start running like a business, you're not gonna survive. And unfortunately, it's true. You know what I mean? So it's what it is. Right now, I understand with what you're paying, but with the costs that we do right now, it's getting it by. You know what I mean? It's getting it by for what the county is paying. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie, yes, it is paying, you know, quite a bit of money, you know, but it's making that ambulance run. You know what I mean? So, from the business side of it. But, you know what I'm saying, the way to correct it would be, you know, get down to the contract and, you know, if the county, not you specifically, but if the county's gonna want to, then see what, you know, we can come up with, or, you know, like that. That would be my only solution.
And that's my understanding. The only thing is like, and I don't need an explanation what your medics were doing in Big Wells because they told us and what we know and stuff like that.
Yes.
But I'm just concerned for the fact that if Crystal City wasn't available, then you have to go through Eagle Pass, Laredo, whoever. And that I understand because I've been both on the medical and public side.
Yes, sir.
And I know how it works, know how contracts work. Ours is very vague. We need to do some corrections on it when the next time it comes up. As a matter of fact, I've gone over it with Mr. Pereira. But the only thing that I'm asking, how can we improve this from having somebody wait there for a while? Is there a way we can help each other?
I mean, honestly, like I said, I would have to.
I'm not getting after you.
No, and I get it, because I mean, and I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, you know, we don't try. Like sometimes, I mean, if we're available, you know what I mean? If we're available, I myself, Angel, you've seen us out there. We're not working. We're not, you know, it could be all hours of the night. We monitor the radios. We have radios. That day, I didn't have my radio. I mean, I don't remember where I was. I think if you're saying it was a Saturday or Sunday, I don't remember where I was.
Sunday.
A Sunday?
Sunday.
It was a Sunday? Go ahead. I don't know where I was on Sunday, but, what do you call it? Like I said, if we have the help in town, we'll jump on, you know, we'll jump on because we have the ambulance there available. We'll jump on and we'll cover that call. You know, we've done it plenty of times. We continue to do it as much as we can. So things like this don't happen. But yeah, that's my only other solution, Commissioner, and that will just keep trying to, you know, other than what we're utilizing already, to try and keep doing that, you know, to come out when, you know, we can and we're available. Yes, sir, other than what's already being provided. Yes.
That's all I'm,
Yes.
and like I said, not picking on you all, not.
No,
doing
no,
anything.
no, understood,
It was just a concern I
understood.
had, I volunteer most of my time,
Yes,
and I don't do it for the money or the glory or
Right.
nothing. I'm there to do what I need to do.
right, correct.
But that's something we might look into, see how we can help each other, this county, and I keep calling you Mitchie. And Victory
Yeah.
can come together with something.
Yeah, yes, sir. No,
Yeah.
that- for sure.
I don't make either one, well, it doesn't make it look bad, but from the talks out there, it makes you all.
Yes, sir. No, I get it, and I mean, and I'm saying, like, I've been in situations too where we've gone nowhere, have been in the county, and we have a major accident, and both units or 3 units are tied up out there, and we have somebody having a seizure. Now I gotta find somebody, see, hopefully somebody's available that's not working, is willing to jump on and try and or clear one of those trucks, we try to balance out as much as we can. It's not, for lack of trying, but it is, yeah.
Any other questions?
I think I'm doing it.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, in listening to the conversation, even adding another ambulance, like you said, if you had 4 calls, 3 calls, we still be having the same conversation, because there's no possible way, if you only have X amount of ambulances, and you have more than one, then enough calls to cover everything at the same time.
Yes,
So, I mean, it's just something we gotta deal with and try to make the best of it, I guess.
Yes, sir. And I mean, we try, we try. That's, all I can say is that we try. Yeah.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Two point 17, discussion and appropriate action, monthly report from Dimmit County Golf Course.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Hicks. 2.18, discussion and appropriate action, approval to purchase 2 turns for precinct 1.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Any discussion?
Commissioner, just for your information, I went and bought a 0 turn, a heavy duty one, just for future, at Lowe's for $4,900, and they're extra heavy. Just
At Lowe's?
Yeah, and also after that, if you need another one, maybe, that's why I'm trying to look for lower prices, but this were good.
The turntable 42-inch or 60? Pretty good.
Because I was seeing here that it's almost $7,000, and I got it for, well, I mean, it's up to you, but I'm just suggesting.
We'll look into it, Commissioner. Appreciate it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
Question, Judge. Oh, no. Never mind.
Wake up.
No, I was gonna ask something, but no, it's not. No. Go ahead.
2.19, discussion and appropriate action, approval to fix water well on Industrial Boulevard, Precinct 1. information?
Judge, this is the water well over at the arena area. We've got a burnt motor and pump, it's 30 horsepower. And one of the deficiencies that was found also is that there's no surge protector before the connection. So if we ever hit lightning around that area, it'll burn it, even if it's brand new. So you'll see one quote to replace the pump and motor, and all other parts included, tape and connectors. And then the other quote is for the surge connector to install. That way we have protection for that pump and motor, because it's pretty pricey to replace.
You want a motion or vote?
Any other questions? Now entertain a motion.
Motion that's on both quotes?
Is there a second?
Second. That's what I was gonna, I'm sorry, second.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, that, I was just gonna ask him if it's 25,000 or the 22, because there's two invoices here.
It's
The panel.
yeah, it's one's for the motor, pump and motor, the other one's for the panel, so it's together.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
It's a safety box.
Safety box.
Should have just given you one code
Yeah.
with everything.
They should start on it this week if this gets approved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. Approval of interlocal cooperation agreement between County of Dimmit and the City of Carrizo in terms of equipment.
This is the interlocal agreement that we pass every year between the city and the county, and in allowing the city and the county to work together and assisting each other with equipment, transporting material, things of that nature.
Any changes, Commissioner?
No, sir, everything's the same. Only changes to the date.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Odena. Any discussion?
Judge,
Yes, sir.
I got a question, because the weight in the agenda is not to what we're doing here, because on the agenda it says equipment commissioner. Let me say we can only help them out with equipment according to the
agenda item?
the agenda item. It just says equipment, so Mr. G, they wouldn't allow us to pick up debris and all of that, right? To assist them with that?
I think that there was on the agenda item,
Clerical.
it's a clerical, that's how it was requested as the agenda item, but I think we should just redact equipment, and it should just be the interlocal cooperation agreement between Dimmit County and Carrizo Springs, because on the actual MOU, it has for brush pickup, hauling materials, and everything. So I think to satisfy that is that Commissioner Alonso Carmona amend the motion to redact equipment.
So move.
Second.
Other questions? Other questions?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Just to take off equipment, that's the way it was requested on the agenda item request, but it should just be for interlocal agreement. .21, discussion appropriate action approval for Commissioner Precinct 1 Jose Urenda to attend the 2024 County Management Risk Conference in March 2024.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Juan Carmona. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.2, discussion and appropriate action, approval of Christmas luncheon and training on December 22nd for Dimmit County employees. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Uranda, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. We have one abstain, which would be Commissioner Carmona, because he stepped out to use the men's restroom. 2.23, discussion and appropriate action, approval of recommendation to create a schedule for additional pay for county employees and non-county employees firefighters. Here you go, Commissioners. Again, this is more of a, not necessarily I would say formality because it's been done before and then it hasn't been done before. This is for the additional pay. In speaking to Mr. Pereira and looking at our financials for this fiscal year and looking at the numbers and the fact that this Commissioner's Court recently approved that increase in pay for the employees. The schedule recommendation by the county judge and the auditor for full-time and part-time employees was the $600 without taxes taken out. Mr. Pereira advised me that historically speaking, there's a certain amount that is given, but taxes are taken out. The firefighters who are not county employees stayed the same as last year's. Are there any questions?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Uranda, is there a second?
Second. Second.
Second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Any discussion?
Yes, Judge, just so we can be clear, you said $600 gross or net?
It's net.
Net. So essentially it'll be like 700-800 something.
Mr. Pereira said that there's a way that he,
Yeah, they
You're right.
do it.
Just
They
making
take care of it.
And it's for all full-time and part-time, or just select, is it based on years worked, or how is it?
it's everybody across the board.
Okay. The schedule that you had.
And does it say,
No, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the 6 months or a year. What's the four? It was stipulated.
That's my recommendation.
I know, but the thing is to be tied into pay. It's not a bonus. You can't have a bonus.
We're not giving a bonus, it's an extra scheduled fee.
I know, but you have to schedule it to salaries, to time, it's in credits. It's just like the budgeted. And just give this the amount, just because. So it's gotta be like a,
So what was the difference whenever you recommended 300 across the board and you recommended 6?
no. That's full time. If you look at the schedule, there were differences, we went 6 months.
Correct, for a full-time or part-time.
Yeah, but there was differences. There was $150 was less for every 6 months. 3 months was $100, and then.
No, it was 3 to 6 months.
Look at this.
From last year's, yes.
It was, no, it was actually in tiers,
It was
but it was 600 or.
3 to 6 months.
Right, but you had 6 months for less, a year.
It
6
said
months.
0 to 6 months. Yes, sir.
Zero
And
to
it
6
said 1 to
months.
5, and then 5.
And they were different amounts.
Correct.
Okay. So that's why it was tied to to the amount of work done, and that's what you worked. So it wasn't, not everybody got the same amount, because it was tied to hours worked.
You know what, my recommendation is I want to limit it to the same amount.
Because that was not on the state salary.
Just like.
you see a problem? You see a problem?
Yeah, because it becomes a bonus.
We call it a stipend.
You give the governor this different bill?
There's an issue, I'll check on that, but basically that's why we were able to do it in the past. So it doesn't look like this bonus is already.
I know they are.
Okay, so we can't, that's why we tied it into.
Well, we can, if it's a stipend, it's not a real recognition.
For starters, the full times. Yeah, anything for more than we will get that.
So how many had it last week? I looked at the schedule, Mr. Pereira, and it's a 0 to 1 year, is a certain amount, 1 to 5 is a different amount. So 0 means they've been here, just been hired. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Zero, anybody?
Ms. Hernandez, bring me that paperwork, please, so I can show it to Mr. Pereira, because he forgot the words to do last year.
So everybody's coming in December, we're not going to.
It says 0 for 1 month, it says from month to 6.
We have, but that's just take the time, we have to credit, we have to credit the time worked. We can't just give it.
Well, we'll go. Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. So it's going to get approved right now contingent to some numbers that we need to look at.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Odena. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
Judge, I'm gonna abstain on whatever, but apparently something good happened, I missed it.
Affirming your recommendation, correct?
It's the recommendation.
Contingent on
That information that we get right now from Ms. Hernandez from last year's, and also Mr. Pereira is gonna confirm whether that's considered a bonus or extra schedule pay.
Can't be a bonus.
It can't. I know it can't. Thank you. 2.24, discussion and appropriate action, approval of Dimmit County official holidays for 2024. I don't know why it's not ready. I know, I'm gonna ask her. Yes, but it should not show for transportation. Whenever she wrote it wrong. Because it says part-time, it should say part-time. So the part-time should be 150. Should be, part-time should be 150. So we have new code and then it has to be taken and then put it in yellow. There's Mr. Ortiz. Mr. Ortiz, can you go forward real quick? Well, if we bring this up for the next agenda and then the 21st, would that give sufficient time? No, right? I'm going to recall 2.22, discussion and appropriate action, 2.23, the recommendation for the payment schedule. It's right here, Mr. Pereira, that does show 1 to 6 months, not the year that you're talking about. But I'm gonna request for this item to be tabled and and then we'll discuss it, and then I'm gonna have a special meeting in regards to this, to give Mr. Ortiz sufficient time to be able, for him and his office, to be able to output those checks. So I'll respectfully request for 2.23, Commissioner Alonso Carmona and Commissioner Urenda, to withdraw your motions, and I'll entertain a motion to have that item tabled.
So move.
Motion to table item by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Urenda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. I'll recall 2.24 as she gets the paperwork for you guys. 2.25, discussion appropriate action, year 2024 Commissioners Court meetings to be held every first and third Monday of each month at 10 a.m. I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
I'm gonna oppose because I don't know why we're changing
What? Same?
the. Huh?
No, we're moving them, we used to have them second and fourth, and I'm recommending to move them first and third, just to alternate.
Because the payments are set for
Yeah.
the second.
I'm sorry, Judge, I didn't pay attention.
It's okay.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Judge and Commissioners, do you want to at the same time, 10 o'clock?
10 a.m. Thank you. 2.26, discussion and appropriate action, approval to change the December 25th Commissioners Court meeting, regularly scheduled meeting, to December the 21st due to the 25th being Christmas holiday.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Juan Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Urenda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.27, discussion and appropriate action, approval for County Judge Marta Ponce to attend the 2024 County Management Risk Conference in March 2024. Again, this is the same conference that the rest of the commissioners are attending.
So
Motion by Commissioner Juan Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 2.28, discussion and appropriate action, approval for Executive Secretary Mirta Hernandez and Court Coordinator Julissa Sanchez Alvarado to attend the Assistant Training Conference February 2024 in San Marcos, Texas. This is a conference that Mrs. Hernandez and Mrs. Sanchez need to attend in regards to the county court assistance. As you know, Ms. Hernandez assists me with Commissioner's Court, and Julissa is my assistant for court coordinator in the court system. So I'm respectfully requesting for this.
Judge, I have a question.
Monday.
Is there another class where you, I know you, are you gonna have your office closed for those days?
No,
or-
because I have Ms. De Leon here.
Okay,
the PO
I have a
supervisor.
question on one, not that I'm not trying to say for them to go, but once you're your executive secretary and once you're court coordinator,
Correct.
and now we just discussed this a while ago, that if it didn't pertain to the court coordinator, who both of them still have to go.
No, it pertains to both of them. It's for county court assistance. If I can get you the.
No, that's fine. I just wasn't.
No, it pertains to both of them because they're both involved in the court coordinating of my court system, and this is a specific training for court assistants.
Okay, no problem. So moved.
Thank you. Commissioner Alonso Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Commissioner Urenda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Do you have that? Do you have? Excuse me? I need it. Because it's an agenda item.
I think they saved it, so trying to go back before, that your system was down, I guess. I go get it.
Do you mind if you don't, please?
So it's 128 steps from here to this.
We'll be in recess for, how long does 148 steps take you, Mr. Garcia?
1 minute and 20 seconds.
He said half a day.
Oiga, you hear me, sir?
Mr. Garcia,
Yeah.
he says it should take you 1 minute and 20 seconds. We'll be in recess.
Yes, I did a lot of walking up here, close to about 60,000.
Recall item number 225. I'm going to respectfully request that the commissioners approve to add an additional regular meeting in September for September the 9th. In terms of in order for us to approve the budget, that'll be September the 9th. So I'm going to entertain a motion from any of the commissioners to amend 2.25, Mr. Garcia, to reflect an additional regular meeting for September the 9th of 2024. Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Uranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. And for, where am I? 2.24, discussion and appropriate action, approval of Dimmit County officials' holidays for 2024. I believe you've been given a proposed 2024 Dimmit County holidays. I am also requesting, it inadvertently was not put on here, for Monday, October 14th, which is the Columbus Day, is a proposal that I am proposing to add on to this. I believe it's my distinct understanding, and I can correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Juan. Commissioner Juan's requesting for on Thursday, July 4th, that we add Friday, July the 5th as part of that 4th of July Independence Day holiday. Are there any other questions? I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Commissioner Juan Carmona, second by Commissioner Alonso Carmona. Any other discussion?
Judge and Commissioners, I'll retype this as official county.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.1, law enforcement, discussion and appropriate action, jail status.
Judge, Cindy called in sick today. I don't have the jail status. We can table that one next meeting. And before you, I do have the citation for the November.
I'm going to request for a motion to table the jail status.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, second by Commissioner Urenda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I have the citations by the Sheriff's Office for the month of November. Do we have any questions? Motion by Commissioner Juan Carmona, second by Commissioner Urenda. Any discussions?
Sheriff, seems there can be some law enforcement presence there on First Street. It's getting, we got people racing down the road, even the semis. Trying to beat the lights. It's kind of dangerous
Where's this at, Commissioner?
on First Street.
Oh, on First Street.
I'll reassign one of the traffic units.
Yes, it gets hectic sometimes. We even have a hard time getting out of my office, because it doesn't, it's a couple of seconds that you're gonna go through, but they kind of speed up that to let you go through, so. Let's see, we can have. some
Oh,
type
sure,
of
we'll work on it
presence
after
there.
we're there.
That's the only concern I have, is there might be somebody.
Also, Judge, I did put in for bids in the newspaper for those two vehicles, so I think the closing date will be for the next commissioner's court.
Yes, sir. Thank you. If there's no other discussions on it, yes, sir.
Have we heard from OLS?
We got notification from OLS. I should have a meeting with Mr. Pereira today to open up the grant. I think that we got it, but it is not in the amount that was requested. But where's Mr. Pereira? We're supposed to meet today with the governor's office.
Mr. P? Yes, it's it.
I was advising Mr. Commissioner Carmona that we're supposed to meet today in regards to OLS and with the governor's office to see what the final amount was that we got approved for.
Oh, pay attention.
Oh. Yes.
Thank you, Sheriff. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. I am going to recall item number 2.23, discussion and appropriate action, approval and recommendation to create a payment schedule for additional pay for county employees and non-employee firefighters. I did have a motion to table by Commissioner Alonso Carmona and Commissioner Urenda. I am going to respectfully request for them to withdraw their motion as we've discussed it with Mr. Pereira and the other officials.
So moved.
Motion to withdraw their motion to table by Alonso Carmona and Commissioner
Second.
Urenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so in regards to taking action for 2.23, the recommendation by the Commissioner's Court, Mr. Ortiz and Mr. Pereira, is for employees that have been employed between 1 week and 364 days, that the payment be $450 without taxes. For employees that have been here 365 days or 1 year and more, for it to be $600 without taxes. That would be gross, Mr. Ortiz. And part-time employees at $150 net, excuse me, not gross, net. And firefighters who are not county employees, firefighters, Dimmit County firefighters, Dimmit County firefighters who are not county employees at $100 net.
Yes, sir.
Everything's net, correct?
Everything is not correct
And 1 week as of today?
as of today.
And
And-
all employees, whether they're hourly or salary, as long as they're not elected officials?
As long as they're not elected officials, correct.
No, let you. I'm talking to Eric.
So can you repeat the first one?
Yes, sir, so I'll reiterate it, Mr. Garcia. Employees who have been employed with Dimmit County from today 1 week to 364 days with $450 net. Employees that have been here 365 days or 1 year or more is $600 net. Part-time employees is $150 net. And Dimmit County volunteer firefighters who are not county employees is $100 net.
Thank
Any questions?
Oh, I'm stuck though. I'm sorry, I was just thinking, if we go in to give our part-time employees 150, I think the firemen should get 150.
If that's your recommendation, I mean, what the court can approve that.
Because they're, part-timers, they're employees and they're there, but the firemen are there 365 days a year And whatever time they come out, they go out. My recommendation, it's up to the court.
We have a additional recommendation for 150 for Dimmit Volunteer Fire Department.
I'll second.
Second. I apologize, Mr. Ortiz and Mr. Garcia. Please make the correction to reflect $150 for Dimmit County volunteer firefighters who are not county employees. Net. Not employees. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries.
I recommend we take $1,000 off Alonso's paycheck for being a fire chief.
That's not on the record, Mr. Garcia.
They're all printed checks, correct?
Printed checks, yes, and they will be distributed at the Christmas luncheon. 4.1, discussion and appropriate action, budget adjustment within utility department.
Judge, this budget adjustment is actually a correction from the previous adjustment that the money was allocated for the inspector, and it needs to go to full-time, not the inspector. The inspector doesn't need an increase, it's only full-time.
Okay.
That's just an increase.
So there was just a discrepancy in that the previous budget adjustment that we approved indicated that the adjustment was going to go to the inspector, but to the contrary, it's supposed to go to the full-time.
Right.
Any other questions?
Full-time to an employee of yours?
Yeah, it was one of the, when the salary increases were increased, my recommendation was not to give it to the inspector because he was already at a pay, he needed to go to the full-time employee.
So when we approved the budget adjustment last month,
Oh,
they accidentally put that that additional money was going to go to the inspector instead of full-time. So he's just trying to get it corrected to reflect the right amount. Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, is there a second?
second.
Second by Commissioner Juan Carmona. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 4.2, discussion and appropriate action and budget adjustment within courthouse security. Gentlemen, and this one, as you guys can recall, I don't know if Commissioner Juan was here or not at the last meeting, but this budget adjustment is, I have it right here, Mr. Pereira got it for me. This one is in terms of meeting that request that Commissioner Rubalcaba, and I think you brought it up also about the extra security at the courthouse.
Yes.
That we've been having an issue in filling that position for the courthouse security. I know that Mr. Garcia had some concerns about the lack of security at the historical courthouse. So essentially this, there was funds in the budget allocated with the courthouse security that weren't moved when we did the budget. So we're trying to move that to allocate it to that security cost so that perhaps we could be more competitive in trying to hire a security at the historical courthouse. So that's what this budget adjustment is for.
May I ask you a silly question?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Okay, we have the security guards, okay?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes they're just there, sometimes they get called out for traffic. So what's the difference on the pay? I mean, shouldn't they be getting 45,000 too?
No, sir. Mr., I mean, I don't know, I don't want to speculate as to what you're thinking, but Mr. Ortiz is no longer the courthouse, so that's why he does do calls. But in terms of the individual we have at the front now, it's my distinct understanding, I have the chief and the sheriff here, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they do not go out for traffic calls. And that's just exactly the reason why, and I mentioned it at the last meeting when I answered that question for Commissioner Rubalcaba. As per SB 22, it's very specific, and they actually talked about it at the meeting we had in Laredo last week, that in order for us to get compensated by the comptroller for them to get the 45,000, they must do traffic stops. They must do traffic duty work because because of the fact that our courthouse security does not do traffic stops. They don't are out there doing citations. We by law are not allowed to, as part of the budget, give them that 45,000. I wish we could, because you're right, they're certified peace officers and they can do traffic stops. They can assist the sheriff's office. However, the sheriff's office has been very gracious enough not to take them away from us, and they're specifically here. But if at any time you feel that they are doing traffic stops or that you're made aware of that, please let me know so I can advise with the chief and the sheriff, and then we can talk to the auditor, because unfortunately with SB 22, if they're just courthouse security, we can't give them that 45,000.
The reason I was asking that is because when I was talking to a gentleman there at one of the meetings, he told me as long as they were peace officers.
No, sir.
That, well, not necessarily police officers, but if they were called once in a while to go perform a duty, that they could, and for example, sometimes when you're church staff and you're gonna need them, you know, that they would qualify. I mean, to me, I don't know, to me, that they would qualify to be paid.
No, you're absolutely correct. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Whoever told you that, it is correct. And that's why I'll say it again. We can give them the 45 if they're out there making traffic stops. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Pereira, because Mr. Pereira and I had this conversation, because initially when we were doing the budget and I was recommending the increases in pay, I had initially included our courthouse security to get paid at the 45. However, in doing the research and speaking to the comptroller's office, talking to Mr. Pereira, we were advised that we could not give them that amount unless they were doing traffic stops, and they're not doing traffic stops. I did talk to Sheriff Castañeda, and at some point we had discussed about maybe one day out of the week that they could go do traffic stops so that we could increase that. However, right now the hardest part is trying to get somebody to come want to work, because a lot of the peace officers don't want to just do courthouse security. They want to be out, you know, boots on the ground kind of thing. So in order for us to make this a little bit more competitive to get, because I've had a couple people, I want to say maybe 2 or 3, if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Hernandez may know more, that have requested to come and do security. But then when I tell them how much we're paying, they're like, I don't want to do that, because they are peace officers, and obviously they're going to get, I mean, they can go work at the sheriff's for 45 instead of working here. So essentially this budget adjustment is so that we can move that money to increase that. It's not going to be the 45, but it'll be higher than what it is, so we can at least maybe get some, you know, entertainment there for people to want to take the position. But like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, right now they are not doing any traffic. You guys are not pulling them
No,
from
we're not
us.
putting them out for anything right now, other than the courthouse.
Mhm.
Unless they call in sick or something.
And it's actually the contrary. Your office is called asking for us to send somebody from the street to come cover the courthouse.
Yes. Because the last time, and I don't think you were here, but the last time Mr. Garcia on the record had advised, and so did Commissioner Carmona, that there was an issue, that there was a gentleman at the historic courthouse that seemed kind of off, and then he actually came over here to our courthouse too, to be honest with you, but there was no one over there. And that's another reason why we put the panic buttons on this agenda as well, because in case if something happened to Mr., God forbid, Mr. Garcia's office at the historic, they'd have that. And I can tell you that my office has inadvertently, not by accident, pressed that button, and I kid you not, within minutes, somebody from the sheriff's office, a deputy, was at my office. So I appreciate that we have those panic buttons, but I know when they went to go look at Mr. Garcia's, I think only 1 or 2 worked in your office. And I know Commissioner Carmona said he had been there when this gentleman came, ¿verdad? And so it's hard.
It put us on alert.
Yes, and it's hard, and I have advised our courthouse security in the front, the young lady, I've advised her to kind of go walk around over there, come back over here, but it's hard to have, you know, one person in 2 places. So that's what this courthouse security is. But thank you, Sheriff and Chief. Like I said, they have been kind enough to tell me, like, hey, Judge, if you need somebody at the courthouses, we'll send them. And they have without hesitation. So thank you guys for that.
Judge, on that note, I know I'm diverting from our, But does this young lady have a radio?
Yes.
Like when the panic buttons go off and it comes over the radio? Okay.
She does have a radio?
Should have a radio,
I don't-
double check.
I haven't seen her.
I haven't seen her with one either. I have not.
I'll double check on
So that way, if something goes wrong, she's not surprised by the deputies arriving, and she's doing her job there, not knowing what's going on.
I have to agree with Commissioner Alonso. I don't think I've seen her with the radio, but she may have one. I just haven't seen
I'll
her.
double check. I know we're putting for 10 more for the stone guards, but, one of the radios we sent from get repaired, and it's not repairable.
Okay. You have a question, Commissioner Odena?
Our security or the person that's up front, are they allowed to give citations, like if somebody's parked?
Yes, they're peace officers.
They're
Would
certified.
that be considered traffic?
No.
Traffic stop, no, we
Yeah,
were,
patrol.
It has to be actual patrol.
That's my question.
That's more of a code violation than a traffic.
Correct.
But I'm not a deputy.
Thank God.
I don't think they allow 49er fans to be peace officers.
We're number one seat, man. We're
That is
number
not
one.
on the record, Mr. Garcia. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Odena. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 4.3 claim docket. In the general fund, there's $892,725.88. Dimmit County Airport, $1,037.79. Dimmit County Golf Course, $11,806.62. Courthouse Security, $2,269.78. Records Management County Clerk, $1,194.10. Utility is $57,057.77. Equitable sharing forfeitures and seizures, $4,844.52. Rodeo Arena, $2,025. Stone Garden, $32,903.19. Operation Lone Star 2022, $3,315.64. Valley Wells Cemetery, $4,799. Dimmit County payroll, $732,933.57. COs 2018, $327.42. COs 2021, $384,315.78, for a grand total of $2,131,556.06.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Urenda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. There is no executive items. I will entertain a motion to adjourn the regular Commissioners Court meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso,
Second.
second by Commissioner Urenda. Is there any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The time is 12:10, Mr. Garcia, and I will call the meeting to order for the Public Facilities Meeting. Roll call, let the record reflect that all parties that were present during the regular meeting are still present, and we have one absent. 1.3, approval of minutes, regular meeting of November 27, 2023. Motion by Commissioner Juan Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Urenda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 2.1, discussion, appropriate action, new business. Any new business, Commissioner?
Judge, we finally got, public facilities got all the backflow preventers, and we regulated the water now, so that should be the end of our problem with the water. Also, like I
That was with
mentioned.
Sanford, ¿verdad?
Yes, ma'am. Also, as I mentioned, we still need to put some backflow preventers in some areas, especially, they told us, especially where the horses get the water, when they're also. So, Other than they were right. And with all due respect, ma'am, I need to let you and Mr. Pereira know, we need to go sign that contract with the Border Patrol. Because they're trying to.
Yes, Mr.
that
Pereira and
He was
I,
trying to take over it and I don't want him to be over here.
yes, we discussed that last week, ¿verdad, Mr. Pereira?
So they're getting too involved. I don't know if they think they're in charge or whatever, but I had one company already set up something for the water, and then they see some other company from Del Rio. I'm not gonna pay, you guys pay me if you're gonna do that. But then they said, we have to pay. I said, no, well, I'm not gonna pay it.
No,
I didn't call them to begin with, so.
The
just
contract
so that
we have-
you know, so they know that we are.
the contract we had was with Sanford.
Huh?
The contract we had was with Sanford, so that's who we're paying.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
3.1 claim doc, or excuse me, is there any other business, Mr. Carmona, Commissioner? I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Commissioner Odena, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Carmona, Alonso Carmona. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. 3.1 claim docket. Public safety is $3,784.03.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Odena. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to recess and adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Alonso Carmona,
Second.
second by Commissioner Odena. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And if you can stay behind quickly, Commissioners, we do have some documents like the MOU to sign.